Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jayme. And tonight we are diving into something that is super duper extra super duper witchy, which is talking about the Goddess Hekate during Scorpio season. Literally two powerhouse witch topics that always come about during the month of October, and then into November because Scorpio season. But you know how we've been doing 12 goddesses for the zodiac year, and now we are to Scorpio, and we are talking about Hekate. And let me introduce you to this lovely Scorpio over here, Kat.
I'm lovely sometimes.
Lovely with things shrouded and hidden, and you don't know what might come next, but lovely nonetheless.
Lovely. Yeah.
Looking very good tonight. I love this new dress of yours.
I'm feeling very elegant.
You know what? It is the fabric that makes it look extra refined.
Yeah, it's very
you definitely look like you're on a Mission Impossible thing where you're gonna go like poison the guy's drink so you can get the hard drive out of the safe type thing. Yeah, that's what she looks like right now to me in my mind. That is what I see. That's my imagination playing out. I'm wearing my Frolic in the Woods dress. I'm not fancy at all today, but that's okay. We're two water signs on opposite spectrums, I think. Yeah,
we are two water signs on opposite spectrums.
I would
definitely
say that's true.
Yeah.
But tonight is her night, and tonight we are going to talk about the Goddess Hekate, which I want to tell you guys right off the bat, I do not like saying this name. For me, it's hard. It's not that I don't like the goddess or all the things involved, but I have dyslexia, and so I don't see things or read things or hear things the right way, and so I used to say Hekate. So I mixed it up the way that I said it.
Me too.
Not
I mean,
Hekate.
I find it a somewhat difficult name it just seems awkward. Hekate. So it's 3 syllables. Hekate.
Right.
And that's how I think I finally
Greek.
Got it,
Yeah, you have to like sound it out like that.
You almost have to practice it.
I don't know if anybody else has trouble with that.
I know I always said it wrong. And I was like, how do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Hekate?
Hekate. Right. Hekate. I mean, if you're like English,
if you're phonetically
challenged. No, we're not phonetically challenged. We're phonetically
trained. If
you're trained,
you're like trained to sound out words phonetically.
It's Hekate.
Hekate,
but it's Hekate. I've listened to multiple things online, but honestly, no matter how you say it, and I really didn't even want to change it. I still really want to say Hekate, which is there's not even all those letters in there. I just mixed them up and made them my own. I still, when in my head, when I say it, I still hear Hekate.
So you may hear us or her mispronounce it tonight.
I may fuck that up. That's just like FYI. Still the same goddess. My dyslexic brain's just going to say it differently. That's okay. So here's the thing about when we enter into Scorpio season is that you can start to feel like life has been dragging. You can start to feel your pull into like the deep, shadowy, like, where am I going? It feels different for everybody going into Scorpio season, and definitely even on the side of like working with the witch's wheel, we're getting into those shadow months. We're getting into the spooky times. But the other thing is that we're getting into the busy fucking time of our current modern calendar. So that's also the pullback of like, oh my God, I have so much to do and so much to look forward to. So it's like you start to think about years past. What am I going to deal with? Family coming up. This will ignite like shadow work stuff, you guys, because you have to deal with all your family that maybe you haven't dealt with in a year. Tough choices as far as like where to go, who to accommodate. What old patterns am I possibly doing just because like this is what's expected of me? This really pulls on us in this season because we are preparing for the coming months. I think, in my opinion.
Well, listen, I have an example to share with you of actually you may be feeling the call, if you will, to do something, to reach out to someone that you're trying to, that you might want to mend a fence with or mend a relationship with. So I had this experience recently where my other daughter, Jolene, you guys know who Jolene is, she, she's the one that wants to bring the family back together. And I have a fractured relationship with my mother, with my whole family, actually. But especially with my mother, and mother-daughter relationships are super important to the three of us. We've all gotten super close, and we have a real bond. And she really wants that. I think Jolene wants that for me and my mother, because she's tried to push me over the last couple of years about, call your mother and stuff like that. Yeah, connect with her. Yeah. And she just called my mother about a week, within the last week. She called my mother. Yeah, didn't really go like she was hoping it would go. But anyway, so you might be feeling that, you might be feeling that desire to reach out to somebody where, there's been something left that's fractured or, unsaid, and you kind of want to clear that air or clear things up or something. And I think that's really I think that's really what happened with her is like, and I think it's this time of the year where, we're going into the deeper area, the shadowy areas of our lives and our souls and our beings and our experiences. And, maybe wanting to clean out the cobwebs a little bit or just try to mend, try to heal. Yeah. To try to heal.
Trying to resolve things. We're all on this journey, being souls, having human experiences, and we're just like, sometimes we're really trying to make the best of it. And when we become empowered and we decide we're going to take the first step, it doesn't, like she said, it might not work out in our favor, but it's like those stirrings are still happening. You know,
they are.
I stirred to find my dad's family for a long time. And there was just a point at which I felt a little tiny niggling of like the universe was going, what if you find them and they're horrible people? And I was like, oh God, I don't need more fucking traumatized people in my life. And I definitely don't need more needy people. And I was like, wow. So I've been searching for like 20 years.
Broken,
I don't need disappointing relationships. I've had enough of those in my life. So I just stopped and I was like, I turned it over to the universe. I was like, if you decide that it is best for me to meet these people and then find me, I've done all the things to put myself out there so that they can find me if they want to, or if they're around. Because we don't even know if they're fucking alive. Like, I don't know. So I get that. It's like, you can take that first step, but when you do, and if you do, don't set too many expectations because you are really relying on other people to fulfill the thing that you're looking for. And truly, we can only do that for ourselves. So that's a warning. That's a pre-Scorpio warning, because as you get into shadow work, that's kind of the thing, is you don't know where it's going to lead you. And you might end up going like, I wish I wouldn't open that fucking box, but you did, and now you're here, and it's like, okay, well, what did I learn from it? So have a little bit of a plan, not of escape, but of how will I recover from this if it doesn't go the way that I want to, or if I'm still struggling with this, or if it's still hard. Make sure you have your network, your people, your witches, your podcast, whatever you have that helps mend it when you do get into these tough spots, because that's what you're going to need after the hard times, I would say.
And I think the conversation was not satisfactory. I think in one way the conversation was satisfactory for Jolene in that she got to kind of speak her mind and say some things that she wanted to say. She wanted to push my mother to, I don't know,
care about you more, love you.
Yeah.
Heal you, give you the things you needed.
And because
we know her hurt. We know you're hurt.
Yeah. So I gave up on this. Like I've tried to help her understand this has been going on my whole entire, and I'm talking about since I was 10 and 11 years old. This is when it started.
Probably even before that
because
you
my mother
weren't aware. Yeah.
Because my mother left me when I was 8 months old and didn't come back for me till I was 3. Yeah. So our relationship was fractured when I was an infant, and I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
And your psychology degree will tell you about about when children are separated from their mother, the impact that it has on the
styles and stuff.
the impact that it has on that relationship. So I tried to explain that to her, and it's hard for her to understand because she just wants everybody. She wants a big family. She wants things healed, and I understand
that. She loves love. She wants more love. She wants more family. We want more of these things in our lives because it feels good. And when you feel like you have the power to restore something, she goes for it. And I love that about her. She's very courageous and outspoken. And like Kat and I, being the water signs that we are, I don't know. I use excuses like that, but I don't know why we are. We're just like, we sit back and we're just like, okay, oh, you want that? Okay, well, go ahead. Fine. That's fine. Whatever. And we'll sit back with it. But my sister is, she's more action oriented when it comes to those things. It runs deep within her. And it's what brings us back together continuously. Like, she is the motivator for us to do a lot of the things that we do. And we just love that about her.
Yep.
Love you, sister. I don't think she listens to the podcast, but that's okay. So getting off track by like 10 minutes on our opening, I just wanted to let you guys know that, we really wanted to talk to you about Hekate. Again, hard for me to say. Hekate and how to work with her, some of her symbolisms. If you haven't heard it before, you can look more stuff up. We're going to give you some really basic things about her that are interesting and related to the witching world. And then also a little bit into Scorpio season, because that's coming up in just like, what, a week or two?
Yes,
the 11th. Yeah, this will come out on the 11th.
Oh, when this comes out.
So like
comes
10 days later. Yeah.
10 days later, yeah.
We're 10 days away from Scorpio season, which is kind of like the I don't know, shake it all down, dive into the dirt. Well, however you want to see Scorpio season. But
well, it's a period of, when we're really, it's an intense reflect. I mean, Scorpio is all about transformation. That's what that
transformation.
That is it. And whatever's transforming in your life, this is the time when those things are going to be surfacing, and they're really going to put themselves in your face, if you will.
God, and if you did,
you're not going to be able to avoid them. And if you do, you might end up sick or something. I mean, you're going through some things since you came back from Ireland that I'm wondering what's...
Okay, wait a second. You said, like, I did something and now I'm sick? Wait, what?
Well, okay, so just, we're going to try to not make this an hour and a half.
No, it's going to be an hour-long video now.
We're going to try not to make this a 90-minute podcast, but I do want to tell you guys, Jayme just went to Ireland with her husband for 2 weeks, and she can tell you more, but I'm going to give you briefly of it, is like, being in Ireland, the locale really made her sick. She had a very strong physical reaction. Physical reaction, like all kinds of weird things happen. And the only thing I can think of, and I think you think this too, is probably some past life shit.
Absolutely,
past life shit. Yeah, because our ancestry is, part Irish, so a lot of English, but the Irish were there.
And knowing the history about what happened in Ireland and just the things, and like even talking to the people there, and I'm not talking about like more recent history. I'm not talking about the things that went on, the atrocities and the all of the things from 70s, 80s, 90s. Like there's still things there. We went through both Ireland and Northern Ireland, or the north of Ireland, because we learned to say that correctly. But we went everywhere. We did a literal 2-week tour around Ireland. But my body had reaction to ancient sites. It had reactions to being in places. And when I say reactions, now I have to explain it. I'm going to sound fucking weird, but that's fine. You guys love me, right? We're family here. I got strange rashes like up the side of me. I was worried I had bed bugs or shingles, or like I literally did not know what was wrong. And because it was on one side, I was like, okay, well, I had worked in my yard the day before. I thought, oh, maybe it's no-see-ums. But then it like spread across my stomach, and then the back one went away. And I was like, I'm not kidding you guys. I was really terrified I had bed bugs. I cannot believe I'm saying this out loud on the internet right now. We're like into the universe. You were
in a different country and sleeping somewhere you'd never slept before. It would be something that would come to my mind too.
Night one. No, I was in the first place we stayed was Belfast. I'd been off the airplane like 10 hours, and my body broke out in hives, like just in certain areas. So it was just really crazy. Then for me, when I travel, I love to travel so much. It's why I joined the Navy. Like ever since I was little, all I've ever said is I wanted to travel the world. That's always been my number one. I think my soul came here to do that.
She used to say that when she was 5 years old. She knew.
Travel the world. I just knew it. I knew I wanted to see everything. And I've been waiting to see the Giant's Causeway since I was in 6th grade. And so that was our first stop. And that, well, technically Belfast was our first stop because it's such a long drive up to the Giant's Causeway. But anyways, getting there, my body started shutting down. Like my ears started clogging. It became like hard to see. Like I brought extra contacts with me, but that's so abnormal for me. So all the things that are not normal for me body wise started happening, where it was like I was swelling and then I was shrinking. My eyes were puffed. Have you ever cried so hard? Well, have you ever cried at night and then you wake up in the morning, you've literally like your eyelids are full of water. Like you could poke them like they're little water beds. Every fucking day it was like that. I didn't cry while I was over there. I didn't have any true emotional reactions to anything. So I was swollen, and then I would deflate, and then I was swollen and I would deflate. And then it was like, I couldn't fucking breathe at night. I had like neck feelings where I felt like I was being choked out. I was sweating in the bed. I don't know. Fucking weird shit. Okay. Like, I don't know. I cannot believe I'm saying this all out loud. Thank you guys for listening. It's I feel like I'm talking to a therapist right now because it was so odd for me. And I've traveled so much during my small young life of 44 years old. and I've never had a reaction. I mean, I've been to violent countries. I've been in war zones and I didn't have reactions like this. But for some reason in Ireland, a place where I was happy to go with my husband for his 65th birthday. Like we were happy to be there. Are you kidding me? Going to Ireland, I was so excited for the spiritual experience of it. And a lot of it was not. There were places I would go and visit that were like old castles and stuff. I was like, literally, I couldn't speak. I didn't want to pull out my phone and take pictures. I walked through there like a zombie. I felt like I had no energy. My arms were heavy. I just felt it. And I need more time to reflect. I've only been back about 5 days. 1 week.
A week.
Oh,
yeah.
1 week tomorrow.
1 week tomorrow. Yeah.
I need more time to reflect on this to understand what happened to me. I'm still not quite sure. I still am not healed. I'm swollen again. I go from this, like, I'm swelling, I'm tight. It's like I've been put in an air chamber. Like, I really don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. But, and I forgot
Thanks for bringing that up.
I don't even remember why I got on that. Why I got onto that. Why I got on that subject. But
connecting with shadow things. So past life regression stuff. I would say Scorpio season would be, if you can find somebody who does past life regression stuff. We only had one in our area in Sarasota. I got to see her. She's never been back again. Like, I don't know who to go to. I would love to do one again. I got great insight. Thinking about this even for my son who has epilepsy, like, what's the purpose of his epilepsy? What are we dealing with? Like, I think that would be good for anybody. And Scorpio season would probably be a very good time to do that. And I would love to know, I plan on doing like tarot reading or like automatic journaling for understanding why the fuck I had such a reaction to Ireland. And also my friend, so Amber does Akashic record stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe I could even look into that with her. I could have her do something for me and find out, what is it with me in Ireland? I was shocked to have that kind of experience. Mm-hmm. Shocked, saddened, mad, kind of. That it wasn't all like rainbows and butterflies and,
It's just really, really bizarre.
It was bizarre. 100%. Out of all the trips I've ever taken. Yeah, bizarre. All right. So that was so long of an intro, you guys. Thank you for sticking with us. We're getting to the actual we're going to get to the beneficial for you. That was a lot about our life and perspective and the things that have been going on.
They love our stories. So you guys love our stories.
I guess we're chatty.
I know you do. Let's talk about the myth and the mystery of Hekate.
Hekate. I love it. She's so cool.
So first of all, the thing to know about her, she's older than the Olympians. She predates Zeus and the other Olympian gods, and she is a Titaness.
Yeah. So we mentioned that before a couple of times, where it's like when you go back in history and theories and all of the mythologies, when you go back to the Olympians, they're like the first of the gods. Yeah.
Yeah. She rules the Crossroads. So, right?
The Crossroads.
Literally.
It gets even more. Yeah.
And spiritually.
Yeah.
Her sacred spaces are three-way crossroads. Is that not a four-way? So what's a three-way? Like a fork? I don't know what a three-way is.
Yeah.
I know what a three-way is, but we're not talking about
Mom's that. Bringing up her Boogie Nights type lifestyle that she had before she had kids. Okay. No. They bring in the three-way because of the three faces and the three fates. And it's really like, you know how you have on, oh my gosh, what's the boards? Ouija board. Where you have like yes, no, and maybe.
Yeah.
That would be an example of what a three-way crossroad is.
Oh, it's also choices, spirits, and worlds. Choices, spirits, worlds. This is where choices and spirits and worlds intersect.
Yeah.
So that's That's three. And this has to do because she's the three faces.
She's the three-faced goddess.
She's the three-faced goddess. Yes. She represents Mother
Maiden Crone.
Maiden Mother Crone.
Maiden Mother Crone.
I always say them out of order. That's our dyslexia. I always say Mother Maiden, and it's Maiden Mother Crone. So she's that. She's that.
Yep. That's part of her roles. I had something before you mentioned that, and then I thought about how Mother Maiden might be like Mother Mary, and why that might come more natural for you because you were poorly raised Catholic. Okay, I don't know, but yeah, Maiden Mother Crone that's the triple-faced goddess, also known as the Fates, which is the three versions of us knowing. Each one knows a little bit, but only together they can tell the story, which is an amazing thing. Yeah, ruling the crossroads. So a lot of times when you see in witchcraft and spells, people really like to hone in on Hekate as the dark goddess that you work with, and she's.
I always heard of her as I always thought she was the protector of witches, or
she is the goddess of witches.
She's the goddess of witches.
So she's like, she's like the headest of witches.
Like she's like the head witch.
But like the most, like if there were titles, hers would be whatever that top title is.
Okay.
She's the president of the witches. I don't know. The commander, I don't know. Yeah.
She rules. Does she rule over the witches, or she's like more of a protector deity?
I don't think, the reason I don't think that it's rulership, because we submit to her. So it's not necessarily rulership. It's like we ask for her favor.
Okay.
So when you're working with deities, it's usually not about you submitting to them and them ruling over you, but it is about you asking for their guidance, knowledge, benefit, favor, like come and help me. And you give them the offerings as well.
Help you with the tools that they possess that are in there. That are there, like swords and torches and whatever their tools are.
So we're going to quickly remind you guys of an important thing in witchcraft. We have invoke and evoke, or just a really quick little lesson again. Invoke is when you think that something lives outside of you, like Hecate's natural spiritual being, all of her tools, all of her abilities. If you think that lives outside of you, you would then invoke her, which is asking her to like help you in your decisions, come into, it sounds weird, like you're not trying to be possessed by her, but you're asking her to kind of like guide you internally, like you're trying to absorb her from an outside perspective. If you want to evoke her, what you believe is that at the root of everything, we are all exactly from the exact same place, and that everything that has ever existed also lives in you, and you just have to awaken it. So then you would evoke that. You would bring that out of your body into the world. So you're like, you would evoke the essence of Hekate into your practice. You would bring out the side of yourself that has never seen light, been awakened. You never acknowledged before. And all you have to do to evoke something out of your body is say, I believe that it's within me to do this, and I'm going to call it forward now. So you call it forward or you call it in. Invoke and evoke. Okay. Short little lesson. The torches. No, are we at that place? Sorry, I was more responding rather than reading.
So we were saying that I just want to go over these. We're talking about the crossroads, three-way crossroads again.
So good.
So places. This is where places where choices, spirits, and worlds intersect. Where witches left offerings there at night to ask for her favor or protection, and symbolically, this makes her the goddess of decision making, transitions, and transformation, which is why she is absolutely perfect for Scorpio. Yeah, because Scorpio is all about
that transformation.
It's all about changing. And, I've only realized as I've gotten older and more exposure to the craft that how many times I've changed. Pluto is in my first house, you guys, my first house. So I've changed a lot. I've changed my name like 5 times in my life. My first name.
I know. And you just changed it again.
I'm ready to change it again.
You just became Kitty. I saw that.
Like, Kitty, So it was like, Katrina is my name, and then it was Kathy, and then it was Kat, and now I'm like Kitty. I think I'm going to stick with that for now.
All of them. Then Cappy Ann. Yeah, like there's been
and
a lot of them.
I keep doing these like changes, and I think it's just something. At times I've thought it was odd, like what's the matter with me? Why can't I settle? And I think it's because I can't settle, because I need to constantly be evolving.
Because you don't need to fucking settle.
Because I need to constantly be evolving and changing, and that's part of it for me. Is to for that identity to also have a new name. I don't think I could have stayed with the same name throughout my life.
She also rearranges the furniture in her house every month, just so you guys know.
I used to do that when I was young. I don't not do it so much anymore, but the thing,
it's not every month now, it's like every 3 to 4 months.
But what's crazy is like that habit rubbed off on my kids, and then I saw them doing it when they got their own places. I was like, oh shit, that came from me.
So the Scorpio thing with that and transformations and being able to just, and you know what I think it is, it's not that it's a bad thing. What it is it's knowing that you have power over your surroundings. And I love that. For me, it was always like, that was the thing. I knew what you gave me from your little, gotta switch things up all the time, is the power to accept and go with change so effortlessly that people thought I was deranged. They were like, how can you just go from this, and do that? And I was like, well, what, doesn't everybody? Like, what? My very first therapist 150 years ago told me that was an exaggeration. It was only like 15 years ago now. Okay, it was 10 years ago. Told me that I was an adrenaline junkie, that I liked situations that were abnormal. And I was like, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean? What? I was like, what? And she then asked me a series of 10 questions. And I was like, yes, I would do that. Yes, I would do that. Yes, I would do that. And because I'd been to Iraq and Afghanistan and been in the Navy and traveled the world and done this, it felt so normal to me that I didn't realize normal people don't do that. I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. Scorpio mother. Love it. Yes. Well, and you know what? I don't find that a bad thing. If you can adjust to the things that change around you and you don't get caught up and depressed and hung up and you're like, oh my God, I can't. Oh, no. I find it as a strength.
And what's crazy is like when I was younger and raising my children, I wouldn't have wished a Scorpio mother on anybody. But now that I'm older and can reflect back and I see the end result of all of that, what I at times was kind of like a little bit of crazy, maybe a little bit of unstable.
No, you had that.
Okay.
So it's not like all of the transformations were great. Like some of them sucked for us. Like I never went to the same school longer than 2 years. I used to label that as a negative in my life. Now I'm like, look at that privilege I had to fucking just.
Well, and also what you learn through those experiences is how much, you can handle. And I think that one of the things that I know I hoped to and did, and I feel like I did pass on to my children in their upbringing was, this ability to kind of like roll with it and know that it's not always going to be like this. I would always say to them, this too shall pass. And what doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Two family mottos we lived by.
I always said that. I said it to myself when I was going through my shit as a teenager and my life was horrible. And then as I started raising my children and we had challenges and they had challenges, I would just repeat that mantra to them. And now they say it and they say it to their children. And I just love that it's,
we're a family of fucking roly-polies. We roll with it. That's it. We're just like, things happen. We're like, whoop, roll on to the next situation. We'll just keep going. I'll tell you where that hasn't benefited me is that I let go of people really, really easily. It's very hard for me to stay. It's not loyalty. I'll be loyal to the end. But if there is not something moving going on, something to fix, something to do, if it doesn't have action around it, it's so hard for me to keep relationships. And my friends right now who I absolutely love, and I really want to name them, but I don't know if that would be necessarily right. When we became friends, you guys remember, I said, I'm a shitty friend. I will ghost you. It will seem like I'm ghosting you. I don't know how to keep reaching out. I don't have that thing. Please, if you don't hear from me for a month, please reach out to me. I promise you, I still want to be friends. I still want to hang out. I still want to do things. And I'm so incredibly blessed that by being honest and saying that to people and telling them that my disability is like, I don't have that thing to reach out. And I don't know why. We're going to blame her that she gave me. I think she's my scapegoat.
I do see where because I see that.
Well, even in the military, I just moved on. I didn't stay friends with people.
The moving on thing is something that I had to learn to do really early because of the stuff that happened to me in my family. And so I had to learn to be agile in that area where you just like, okay, today I'm in this foster home and tomorrow I'm in another foster home. And in 6 months, I'm in some other place. And, it was a constant change of my surroundings and the people who were like responsible for me or over me or telling me what to do. And so I really had, those 4 years that I experienced that kind of a life, I had to learn to roll with those. And so for me, consequently, my problem is that I walk away really easily. I'm just like, bye. I'm good.
This went all the way into.
So I don't really have like old friends. I'm the same with friends. I don't have a hard time with that.
It's a hard time, yeah.
It is. And that's just because of my early formative experiences and how I chose to handle them and respond to them. Yeah. And to be able to live through those experiences as such I was a child, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I'm vitamin friend deficient. Like I don't have that thing that creates the strong bond.
You don't have vitamin F?
I don't have vitamin F. I'm deficient.
F-R-I-N-D.
And this is truly a shout out to the people who have been able to stay in my life through long distance, not long distance, but long silences, long pauses, I get caught up in my own world and then I do not reach out. And but also I'm going to shout out to me that I feel really good that when I finally admitted that that's what I did, when I want to engage with somebody and I like them so much, I'm like, oh my God, please don't leave me. I'm going to be shitty to you. I know I am. I know I'm not going to be the ideal friend type. Please don't leave. Like, I promise you, it's not you, it's me. Stay. And I've had such great friends over the last, probably 6 years, ever since I moved into where I live now. Honestly, I have built such an incredible group of women. I think
that's the house where you really finally settled in.
Yeah, I did.
That's the first place.
I hung things on the wall for the first time.
You hung pictures on the wall. You put nails in the wall and hung up a picture.
I unpacked every box. I had a box that I was carrying around since 18 years old when I went to the Navy. I unpacked that box and threw it away. And I'm not kidding you. There was a ritual to throwing away the box that still had the literal, like when it got mailed to me from boot camp. Well, I was in A school, but just after boot camp, it mailed to me at my first address while I was in the Navy. I had that fucking box forever and I unpacked it. And some of it was literally clothes from when I was little. And Jolene, I saved some of my sister's clothes, you guys. Like, I'm sentimental, even though it sounds like I'm fucked up. I'm sentimental as hell. I've got toys and clothes from me and my sister being young. And I told my mom, I was like, this is my box. Do not throw it away. And she mailed it to me. And then I was responsible for this box for all these 20 years. And then when I moved into this house right now that I have with my husband, like the box stayed packed until after we got married. And probably only 4 or 5 years ago, I went down there and I was like, the box is going. The box has to go. I'm never leaving this place. Like, this is my roots. My roots are truly deep here. Yeah. And this is the first time in my life that I've experienced that because I've been such a roly-poly. I've just been rolling around in life. You know what? And maybe this, you know what? And I wonder if this is I just wonder if this is, our conversations and how they're like getting off of Hekate and going into these deep areas. If this is all part of this season. She's influencing us right now.
That's what's happening. Like this
She's
stuff
getting to us right now.
This stuff is coming up because it's like, this is the time to talk about this kind of stuff. So
get in deep, man. Just get there.
But again, we'll try to circle back because we want to tell you more about
Hekate, the season, Scorpio, everything.
We'll try to stay on.
So, are we too light? Are we to the torch yet?
Because we did decision making, transition, and transformation. That's what. Okay. So we're in the. She holds the keys to all the realms.
I do love that. I have a brief note, and we can't go into this, and we've already decided that we probably need to do a Lilith one. She's not going to be one of the goddesses because technically she comes from the Christian. Lilith.
I want to do a Lilith. I think witches are interested in Lilith.
Lilith is an interesting character, and how she's been posed and stuff. So, as I was developing as a witch, I often heard, and this is many, many years ago, it's hashed out a lot more now, which is great, but I often heard that Lilith and Hekate were sort of the same being. So you've got one from Greek mythology and one from Christianity, and they're both like world destroyers, kind of crossroads people. They rule outside of man, anything man-made, they rule outside of that. And so I always categorize them together, and I was like, the names felt interchangeable to me. But holding the keys to all realms is something that I would attribute to Lilith, because she was a woman who would not bear children for Adam, and so she was called the world destroyer because there was no line after her, that she gave no men, no children, blah blah blah. But then there's Hekate, which there's nothing to do with children and the bearing of anything. It was more like she ruled the realms of all of the existences that we could have. And so I get there now Heaven, that I say it doesn't necessarily seem
So
are you going to say it? Go say it, yeah.
The realms that she rules, so in case you're wondering, like realms, heaven, earth, are we going to do what?
Yes.
Land.
On the land, the sea, the sky, the pledge allegiance to your
You guys, we just went, we're going to get off track here, but we just went to we've been all over Taylor Swift's
we have
new album since it came out.
We were trying to learn the dance the other night because we were just like all of us girls
heaven,
together.
earth, and, the land
heaven,
to see the sky.
The land to see the sky,
but also the underworld. So Hekate also has access or represents access to the underworld.
And some people believe that that's where she lives, is with Hades, like in Hades. So Hades is a god. It's also Hades is like what hell is called, technically. Some people believe she resides there. I think that's fucked up. They're just like putting her in this like shitty world. I think she lives everywhere.
Okay, so she's the liminal gatekeeper, and I'm going to ask Jayme to remind me what liminal means in a second. Helping souls move between worlds and helping you move between versions of yourself. So that's her 3, maiden, mother, crone. We're never, I'm a crone, but I'm still a maiden. I'm still a mother. So things. Liminal, remind me again, because this is a word that just came up in my purview in the last month or so.
I think it's a terrible word. I don't think
it's a word that's used much.
It's not, meaning both sides. Lives on both sides. Right. Yeah. So, both sides of a threshold, of a boundary, you're liminal. I don't like the word, but there's nothing that says that you are on the outside of the door and you are also inside the house. You are liminal. You exist in both. There is no boundary for you.
Okay.
You're boundaryless.
Okay.
Yeah, liminal.
Okay. Torchbearer.
Torchbearer. Fuck, finally.
This is where she wanted to get to.
40 minutes in. Torchbearer. Okay. What I think about Hekate is, did I say it right? Hekate.
Hekate.
Hekate. What I think of her as, where I've used her in imagery, because I have I'm very visual in my mind. She brings the torches or torch and her black dog to your spot when you are just totally fucking lost, sitting at that crossroads on your knees, crying it out, going, what do I do? Please help me. Oh, I'm fucking anybody. Like, if you don't believe in the man god of Christianity and all the other, religions, that's just like there's one man in the sky, in the cloud, whatever. Hekate was the person, the goddess who showed up when you were on your knees at your worst moments going, what the fuck is happening? What do I do? You're pleading with what the universe, because now it's, for me, more, it's like, it's the universe, and I imagine the void. But when I was a beginning witch, it was the Hekate embodiment of a goddess coming forward with her torch, and that torch being fire, transformation, lighting your path, illuminating the things that are happening to you, and then bringing all of her wisdom from Maiden Mother Crone. The torches. So that's one of my favorite imageries for her. I've been in places in my 20s where Hekate was the goddess that I just kept thinking, where are you right now? Like, I need you so bad. Every day I feel like I'm at a crossroads where I'm trying to get somewhere and I can't. I don't know the fucking answer. I need inspiration. I need you to give me signals. Point a direction. Don't even say words. Just like, like the old scarecrow. Point down. That's the road, bitch. Take it. And I didn't get anything from her, just so you guys know. That wasn't it. It was truly when I would ask for these signs and I would imagine her, all I kept hearing, I know this is weird insight, but all I kept hearing, and this was me trying to leave my son's father, by the way, this is my situation. All I kept hearing was like, you already know the answer. And so her illumination is to trust myself. And that's my own experience with her. And I haven't worked with her since that time. And that was, Cameron's going to be 20 next month. Holy shit. And Cameron at the time was 2.5, 3 years old. So it's been a long time since I was on my knees asking for Hekate to literally give me any direction and show me the spiritual path, because what I was struggling against was I really did not want my son to grow up without a father. And I'm using father loosely. That's a title. And there are people who are biological fathers, and then there are people who are dads and fathers and involved in their kids' lives, right? So there's so many things that I had to work through with that. And basically what ended up happening was I left, because for me, it was, I needed to stay true to myself. My intuition was do the right thing for me and my child. It had nothing to do with that man. It had nothing to do with him. I had no loyalty to him. I had a child. That was my decision. Do the thing you need to do. So in anybody asking for help from Hekate, and if she only responds by literally showing up, it was her, the torch, the black dog. That was my vision. Every time I would, I don't want to say pray, but plead in a sobbing, heavy, literally on my knees in the dirt road. I lived in South Carolina, so getting into country area where there's nothing was easy, and that's where I would go at night. Back roads, nothing, red clay, didn't just looking for answers. And she would just show up and then stare at me. I was like, this is not helpful. Really, can you speak words? Can you show a finger? Can you do something? And she would just stare at me, and it was like, you already know what to do. You already know. But I didn't want to do it. And that was the hard part.
That's the thing.
That's the hard part. That was the transformation.
That's the thing. Like we do know, and we don't want to.
And I'll tell you why.
Because it's very hard.
Well, what I realized is that if somebody else had told me to do it, if Hekate had said, take the road to Florida, you want out of here. Like South Carolina is not your vibe. If she had told me and then it didn't work out, do you know what I would do? I'd blame her. I wouldn't have accepted the decision for myself. So I think that by her showing up to me and just staring at me intensely, and the black dog sitting there, and I loved the black dog. I can still see them so clearly, like bringing up that memory. It's so clear. And there's no ominence to it. It's not threatening at all. It's literally like it's almost like, she didn't look like my grandmother or anything, but showing up as a strong woman who just stared at me and was like, speak it for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
And I think that being able to see that now, she was not going to give me a way out where I could be like, you told me to do this and it didn't work out for me. She's like, no. You're going to make this decision and you're going to own it. No matter what happens, it's still you. And I love that because I felt like, not immediately, but probably 10 years later, I was like, okay, I get it. It's where I came to Florida. I met my now husband. I'm in this life. I have my mother. My whole family is here now. Like, I didn't know that. She didn't tell me any of that. She didn't say this was all going to happen. I'd never been to Florida in my life. I literally moved here never having stepped foot in the state. Such a big transformation.
That's just.
And she didn't tell me anything. She just stared at me and I was like, thanks for the help. But now I get it.
No, it was not. It was like helpful. Trust yourself.
It was.
It was trust yourself.
Trust yourself. You already know.
It was trust yourself and go forward with that faith in yourself that you'll make it. That you'll make it. That you'll make it there.
You're strong enough. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a goddamn roly-poly girl. You know how to do this.
You roll with the punches.
Roll it.
She was Persephone's guide in the underworld. When Persephone was abducted by Hades, it was Hekate who heard her cries and guided her safely back to the surface.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that she is known for.
Oh, I love Persephone.
Her sacred animals are both fierce and loyal. Is it lion? Oh, it's a serpent. Okay, so black dogs, owls, and serpents. I don't know what I was going to say, because fierce, I was thinking lion. But so in particular, dogs are her messengers. And it was said that dogs would howl when she was near. And I can't tell you how many times. When I hear a dog now, I'm going to be like, hello, Hekate?
Well, I haven't heard this in so long. Like, I haven't worked with Hekate in so long. So, because I haven't needed to.
15 years. Yeah. More than
15 years.
2015.
2015 years.
It's not quite 20 years yet because Cameron's just going to be 20.
Yeah.
He was 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, he was, going on 3, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But that's now hearing dogs or wolves or the cries, and I don't have experience with that, so I can't speak on it. The visions, though, I have the visions of Hekate.
So here's a witch tip for you. If a dog barks at night during rituals or moon work, it's not always random. It might be Hekate walking by.
Yeah. I do have a rather cute beagle who barks when she sees rabbits, and it sounds like somebody's dying. So I will say that I will ignore that one. So if it's a dog, if it's in your neighborhood, don't take that as a sign, because sometimes we get mixed up in our signs, right?
Yeah.
But when you hear, when it's just like, wow, what? That immediate of what? That is probably her sending something through to you. But also owls. I love that.
You have so many owls.
I have so many owls.
So jealous. Do. Jayme has the best yard with so much nature and so much animal activity and bird activity. And
I will say, writing this, I didn't know the owls were part of Hekate.
Okay.
So she's been with me since I moved into that house, because I've had owls nesting in my house since I moved there 7.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a little party dance for that. I love it. Yes. So she has the 3 faces of Maiden, Mother, Crone, but that's not just what it is, okay? Originally, those 3 faces meant that she had dominion over the 3 realms. And we talked about this a little bit, but it's earth, sea, and sky, okay? land and sea and sky. Yes, Taylor Swift, absolutely love it. The maiden mother crone, that aspect later came as her worship evolved, which is meaning how people saw her, how they were able to relate to her. There's also this thing that I haven't found a lot on. It's called the three fates, and it could be Greek, it could be Roman.
The fates,
the three fates.
Yeah, but weren't the fates like the nymphs or something? Or
no, nymphs are the water creatures. So that's
but those fates were actually.
Were they?
I want to say they were, but I'm not sure.
I need to go back to college just to take things like this, like mythology and stuff. Honestly,
yeah.
So we also think about this in the cycles of the moon. That was where I was going. The faces. If you think about the triple goddess moon symbol, a lot of people don't know this, but when you have that waxing crescent, full moon, waning crescent, sorry, words are hard. That is three faces of the moon. Our divine feminine, the goddess that we see, the moon, the one that, we all associate with this divine femininity. And that was part of it, is to see these three phases of ourselves. The most important thing to note is that they're not linear, and it does not result in age. You could be born a crone and go through your maiden phases when you're older, because the things in your life lead you to those paths. So the one misconception that I get a lot is that just because you have an age of 45 to 60, you think you're in your crone era, but you never even got into your maiden era, and you can go through those phases very, very fast. You can also regress, and you can go from, like me, I was more crone in my younger years. Then I became maiden. I was crone, then I became mother, then I became crone again. I'm not sure I ever went through maiden, but it's so don't think of it as something that's linear. It's phases that we go through, and just honor each one. I was almost going to say respect each one, but really honor each one. Like whatever phase you think you're in, that's where you're at. Just roll with that. And then as you assess, reflect, and transform, you can go to another phase up and down the line. It doesn't matter. Thinking about how she still protects the witches and the marginalized, because she herself was a marginalized person as a goddess. They didn't respect her. They didn't see her gifts as valuable. They didn't want to know what she did. It was like, that's how she ended up with Hades. So Hades and hell have this conjunction because it seemed like an undesirable place to be. Yet, being in the Hades underworld area is where we can progress the most. And it was not valued. It was not valued to go through tough times. And that's sort of denying our spiritual experience as humans, to come here as a spirit and be human. People want to deny that all the time, that hard times are horrible. We should pray them away. Like,
we
oh
should
my God.
avoid them.
It's so tough. And I do think that our physical bodies, our brains, like the human essence of us, we do really want to do that. Like we fight for consistency, monotony, like just nothing happening to us. So our brain, we can predict everything that's going to happen. Yeah. We know through our day that everything's going to be fine. That doesn't equal growth. That doesn't equal challenges. That doesn't equal thought provoking. That doesn't equal art. That doesn't equal perform. All of the things that struggle does, or non-struggle doesn't equal. It equals fucking nothing. The existence of us, if we struggled through nothing, would be nothing. We need the struggle in order to progress, to grow, to rethink, to redo, to band together, to have a fight, to have a cause that we fight for. That's what I'm thinking with that.
Yeah.
I'm rambling. Save me. That's why I looked at you.
Yeah. No, I can see where, I mean, it's true. Like, we're like, why is this happening to me? Why is my life a mess? And your life is a mess, well, because probably the choices that you made, but also because you're in a period of time where you're the universe or whoever is trying to teach you something. There's a lesson for you in the hard time. There's a lesson for all of us in the very difficult things that we experience as people. And those are the only ways that we grow into the people that we're going to be. If I had not had the experience that I had with my own mother, I might have been a different mother with my children, but because I had the mother that I had and the very difficult relationship that I had, when I decided that I wanted to be a mother, and I did, that was really the only thing that I wanted. It's the only thing I knew, because that's what we were raised back in those days. But anyway, one of the things that I said was, I'm not going to be my mother. That's what I learned from that. I was like, I was going to be different with my children. I wanted to have a relationship with them. So it's the struggle that it turns us into who we really are supposed to be. I think who we were here to grow into. I think.
I love that you're saying that, because.
Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I just remember thinking when I was younger, how, if you've ever said the statement, this is so unfair. I didn't ask for this. My son says this now, and all I can look at him with is like apathy, because I know I said that when I was younger. I know that I didn't like this world. I knew that it was harsh conditions, and I felt that was really shitty, and I was like, I would never choose this. And I really rejected the idea that my soul came here to learn anything. And it wasn't until I truly found my belief, because what you find is a belief, okay? You find the belief that these things do happen for a reason, and you need to get something out of it. You don't just need to see it as a shitty experience that was fucked up and unfair and all the things. You need to see it as, if this happened to me, there is a purpose, and what is that? And how can I grow and be better and stronger and this and that? Because what I've realized through your experiences, and then you telling me, I absorbed your experiences, I went forward with them. I still had shitty things happen to me. It didn't save me from my transformational experiences, but what it did do was empower me to know that I'm not alone, that we can change things. So now I've evolved to think that we don't just have to sit by and let it happen. And that is what I see all of this as, is this just, we're all small gears in the effects of changing things for ourselves and other people. And I think that having matching scars from sexual abuse, being taken advantage of by men, being mistreated by girlfriends, being talked about, being like, whatever the thing is that you're like, that was fucking unfair, I didn't deserve that. Because most of us don't deserve the things that happen to us. It's like,
nobody deserves to be bullied. And that shit happens to way too many kids, in school. Like you were bullied.
Like to the nth degree. For things that I could not control, like just being white or having blue eyes, or like just the weirdest shit, you guys, you would not understand. Like nobody would guess that. But then, so we get to this place of, this is so unfair, but it also then makes us very judgmental. So we go from like this being of, we want to have acceptance and we want to figure out what's going on, and we're not being treated fairly, so we want to fight for the other end. And we can go too far, and then we can become judgmental and then start trying to persecute everybody else who's, like, you're too much, you did this, and then we'll bring it back down. So this is what Hekate to me represents, is not just, okay, we've got maiden mother crone, but we've also got these different phases in our life where we are the abused and victimized, to where we are the protectors. Then we are the ones who want to go out and be the vigilantes and start fucking things up.
These are the faces. These are the different faces and phases.
Faces and phases. Mm-hmm. Because also, I don't know how many of you out there are mothers, aunts, grandmothers, sisters, like brothers, uncles. And if somebody did something to one of your family members that really crossed the line, and this could be like, trigger warning, but the sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, draining their bank account, absolutely just taking them for granted in every way possible that is inhuman. These are like the Lifetime movie stories, right? You as a person, how hard would it be for us to stop ourselves from taking that vengeance into our own hands, to taking that, to
trying to get justice,
to make it right,
to get things right.
And yet, that's not our journey. And yet, are we supposed to do that? And these are questions. This is all shadow work for us, right? If somebody sexually assaulted my son, Well, that's my fucked up part, right? I never let him be babysat by anybody. I was too protective.
That was my doing.
Yeah, I was too protective. I was too worried. I'm like, oh my God, if there was a man inside of a daycare, I was like, he's not going here anymore. That's it. No, I don't care. Yeah. So, and it's not that females don't do that. It was just like, in my mind, men were bad, always. And so we lead with that into things. And this is where the shadow work comes in, because it's like, how much of that is real? How much have we fed ourselves? What are we hyping up? Where are we going? How much of a vigilante are we going to be? What are we going to stand for? This is all Scorpio, Hekate, shadow work, all your faces that you wear. Where are you going with things? Man, I could spend 5 hours talking about this. I could literally do a whole symposium on this, I swear. Because we're not just dealing with our spiritual aspects, we're dealing with all of the human aspects that we've been put through. And we've all had a lot of experiences. I can't name a witch who didn't come to witchcraft with some kind of wound, scar, sore, fucking wronging by people.
Yeah.
It's like, this is where we go to find comfort and understand why this all happens to us anyways. Why are we here? What is did we chose this? Because my son says even now, he was raised spiritual with me, not necessarily witchy, but spiritual. And I remind him, even with his epilepsy and all the fucked up things that go on with his condition right now, he's like, I would never choose this for me. I'm like, and I can't stop saying to him, but your soul did. Your soul did for a reason. And your soul and me, we chose each other because also I have to go through this. I have to watch you suffer. Like, this is also for me. This is also for my mother. This is for my sister who has to deal with it. This is for everybody who knows you right now, chose to be in your life, to see you go through these things. And we're all supporters of you. And like, yes, this is all fucked up. And I have no idea how it ends, because he has one of the epilepsies that like 80% chance of dying more than regular epilepsy. So he has a severe type of epilepsy, and we all decided to be in his life to experience this thing with him. And he rejects that right now, but I eventually think that he'll come together with it. You think?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
I think so.
I've had visions of it, of him. That the reason he had epilepsy is he's going to meet a girl in the hospital where he's very funny. He's a very funny guy. And he makes a joke about like, so do you come here often? I literally had this dream where he says that to a nurse and they hit it off and they exchange numbers and it forms into a relationship.
Manifesting is what she's doing.
No, it was a dream. It was an actual dream, sleeping dream.
Prophetic dream then.
And I told him that. I was like, oh my God, you have epilepsy because the woman that you meet is going to be a nurse. And this is how it goes down. And it's like, it's so him. It's so crazy. And yeah, I don't know. Off track again. Love it.
Well, we were talking about how, a lot of what you touched on there, we were talking about how she protects witches and the marginalized.
Yeah.
I mean, all these experiences that we have where we're going out and where we experience these traumas in our lives as women. And we know as women what that means in this society for us, which, it wasn't that long ago. We didn't have any rights at all. And that's marginalized. That's a marginalized person. That's somebody who doesn't have the same respect and rights that other people do. So she's a protector of that. Mm-hmm. And so I think, all the things that you were talking about kind of like fits in with that.
Yeah.
Like
it's just these different elements probably within my own life and my family's life and the things that we're going through and all the things that have happened and that you guys can probably relate with. But Hekate is that one. And you can go to her at any time for this, So
let's talk about her symbols really quickly. So her sacred symbols include keys to access hidden knowledge.
Yep, a key.
A torch.
The torches. I love the torches. The torches. It's like the old torches. Not like torches like we're coming to burn the beast.
No, it's like the Statue of Liberty torch.
Yes, it's like the Statue of Liberty torch. Yes. Yeah.
So for illumination, that's for light, to light the way. Daggers for cutting through illusion.
She had them on her waistband, like as a little loopy thing. Yeah. Yep.
So, and not for killing people and stabbing them.
Nope.
Although...
hey, you gotta cut cords.
But for cutting through illusion, snakes for rebirth and power.
And that was usually her jewelry or something in her element of her like garb. There was snakes in that.
And then of course Crossroads, which we already talked about, which is choice and change.
That's usually where she's pictured at, is that she's standing at the crossroads. So when you see images of her, she's at a crossroads of some kind. Yeah.
And then the moon for cyclical wisdom and feminine intuition.
Triple moon. So I've always, when in my early witch hood. I called that triple moon goddess. That's what I literally called that symbol.
I thought it was a triple moon goddess.
I think that is
that's
something
what I
more
call.
modern.
I made one that's hanging over my front door. Yeah.
We've always called that the triple moon goddess.
Is that not the right name?
I don't know. I think it's a modern term that we all absorbed, and we're just like, yeah, that's the triple moon goddess. But it's the triple moon. We added goddess to it because it represents the faces of Hekate. Yeah, I love it. Us modern witches, should we just be doing show? We just change it up, you know? Why stick to the normal?
Okay. I don't know that we haven't already covered this because we've talked about a lot of things, but
we go off track.
Hekate and Scorpio season. This is the power duo.
Absolutely. There was not a more perfect goddess, and I was so excited to reveal to Kat that I was like, we're doing Hekate for Scorpio season, and I already know you're just gonna love this shit. You know, just the deep everything. Yeah. So Scorpio season equals that descent, that release, the death, rebirth, transformation. Like, I don't know what you guys have perceived as Scorpio right now, but that is it. And I didn't write this in here, but can I give a very quick story about how Scorpio is? First, it's a scorpion crawling on the ground, right? Hiding in rocks, survival mode, total survival mode, just like sting, survive, eat, survive, sting, survive, rock, sting, survive. Then it transforms into the eagle. So we're at mid-flight. We can see a lot. We're evolved, but still deadly claws, beak, like just a symbol to be fucking reckoned with, right? The eagle. Then the eagle evolves all through death. By the way, evolve, I mean they die. So scorpion died, became an eagle. Eagle died, became the phoenix. So the phoenix is the last phase of Scorpio. And what the phoenix does is when it dies, it just rebirths itself into that higher being. It just phoenix to phoenix to phoenix. It never becomes anything else. It is always that fire bird rising higher than an eagle, seeing over everything. It's a spiritual animal rather than something that lives physically. So that is something that I know about my mom. Scorpion, eagle, phoenix.
Okay. Yes, I love that. This season, Scorpio season, is about honoring endings and trusting the dark sides of us, the dark that's in us, the dark that's out there, and embracing our power as it shifts, as it changes from Scorpion to eagle to phoenix. Because even if you're not a Scorpio, you probably go through transformations like this in your life where you're evolving from your
survival mode.
Yeah.
To seeing more, to then becoming the person where you're like, I have what I need now.
Yeah.
Like there is usually that evolution in people's lives. Yeah. I love it. So with Scorpio is it helps with your shadow work self, because Scorpio is able to dig deep and understand why dying is necessary. And a lot of people don't talk about this because we have many kinds of death, right? When you transform yourself physically, like, you know, you lose a lot of weight or you gain a lot of weight, you physically killed that other thing that you were, because you are different now. You wear new clothes, you wear new makeup, you have new hair. You are transforming yourself. You are letting the death of that other ego, that other thing that you believed you were, die. And when we have that, you can go through these stages of almost like you did the bold thing. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Me cutting my hair off, I was like, I'm going to own this. I'm going to empower myself. Listen, ladies, I've been crying since like day 3. I don't know who the fuck I am. My reflection is not there yet. I'm still struggling. So we can have these deaths and rebirths and we can not be happy about them. Or we can be like Kat, and she cuts all of her hair off and she looks like a fucking goddess all the time. And I was like, this short hair fits you so much. It looks so great. And she loves it. So we can do both. Like you can transform yourself and love it. And you can also transform yourself and be like, that wasn't the one. I got to do.
Well, not recognize yourself in that transformation. Yeah. You're like, who am I? And then you have to figure that out. And then you're going through another transformation while you're figuring out who you are as this new person, like as this physically skinny person or fat person or a person with short hair, or a person who had cancer and had mastectomy.
All
things like that. Like all the things that
I know. Mine is so little. You're sorry. When you say that, when you say like mastectomy and cancer, like, oh, what the fuck? My hair is just my hair.
No, our hair is that. Hair is not just hair to women. I'm sorry, but
I don't think so.
It's not. Hair, it's our crown. It is, and it's important to us. So there's no way to just.
I could probably handle a face full of acne better than short hair. And I had adult acne for like 4 years, and I was okay. I dealt with that. It was fine.
Yeah.
But I had long hair. So there's these things about ourselves that we think are us. We identify as us. That's our characteristic. That's our personality. That's what makes us us.
Yeah.
And those things can change. And all of a sudden you're in a transformation that either you did ask for or you didn't ask for. How about losing your job, your husband, your house, your car, how about losing all your things? Who are you now? Ask yourself that question. If you lost all the physical things that make you who you are, that you define your life by right now, who are you? Who do you become? Where do you start over? How do you start over? These things happen to people all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And if you're one of the people that it has happened to, like, I had friends in college, they lost their entire house due to a house fire. That's not the worst part to me. Their 3 pets were locked in the house. They lost all 3 pets. That shit, I still think about that and mourn these animals that they died over 20 years ago now. But like that kind of thing where literally everything is taken from you, including all of your pet. Like, how do you even come back from that? How do you find normal after that? How do you not feel responsible for the rest of your life and just be in this like depressive state? There are so many ways that we transform ourselves that we've asked for. And I guess that's something that I have to remind myself all the time is a lot of the times we ask for our souls to go through this human experience doing these things and how we're going to recover. And I really think the answer is together. I know that it's Hekate and Scorpio season, but I think that the answer to all of this madness is sort of how we band together, which is why Kat and I do what we do, because we need each other. That's how we get through like the tough times. Mm-hmm. But the transformations of that, Scorpio season can bring about that deep dive into the rebirth. And rebirth is not always
a positive experience.
Well, I was going to say, it's not always like I asked for it. It's always like, I'd like one rebirth over here, please. Thank you. Yeah. Like you're not even prepared for it. And it happens, these, I don't know. I almost lost my husband this year. I almost lost my kid this year. That would have been rebirth on a completely different level. And you don't know what your life is going to look like. And I guess the whole point is just to make yourself vulnerable and open to, I'm here to experience these things. They're not forever. This world is not necessarily the end all be all. And how are we going to take it? What are we going to do with it? How are we going to move forward with it? The lessons that you help other people move through after you've been through bad things, hard things, spiritual things, Scorpio things, Hekate things. Get your stories out there for that. I keep saying that. I want everybody to have a podcast or YouTube channel. Like, tell your story about it. Yeah. Because I think that's truly how we are able to move on, is that we realize that we're not alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk now about how we can invite Hekate into our practice through rituals and offerings. So offerings might be garlic, eggs, honey, wine, bread, at a crossroads or on your altar.
And I wrote like very simple one-line things. There's tons of stuff on the internet. Obviously, she's a very big goddess. Every witch loves her. But so these are very, very small things. And I didn't even write reasons in them. So garlic, protection, right? Eggs, fertility or abundance. Honey, sweetness, drawing it into you. Wine. That's always an offering. That's always an offering. Bread is also an abundance or like a sustenance thing. But anytime you add these elements to your altar, to a place out in the yard, if you got old, like my old bread, I threw out in the yard. I was like, you're an offering. I knew the raccoons would eat it, but I was like, it's still an offering in my little space. Yeah.
Let's see. Candles. Yeah. So they torchlight candles or just candles can represent that torch. And
I think three of them. Yeah.
3 candles.
Threes. Do it in threes.
Do it in threes because of her representation of the 3 faces.
The triple goddess. Yeah.
The moon faces and phases. And ask her to illuminate your path. Of course, always journaling, and especially this time of year with the shadow, with the dark time of the year, this is the season for the things that are in here that are going to come up. That's how I feel. That's what I feel about this season, is that the stuff that you didn't even want to come up, like you don't even have to think about shadow. that shadow shit is coming to the surface this time of year. So
it just happens.
It just happens. So journaling, like for journaling prompt might be what crossroads am I standing at right now, and what truth am I avoiding? Using keys or skeleton keys as charms for protection and guidance,
of course. Yeah.
Work with black dogs, real or imaginary. They're sacred to Hekate.
I will say that my black dog looked more like a wolf, like it was giant.
Was it like a
giant dog?
What were the wolves on the dire wolves from Game of Thrones? Like that big?
They were basically like a dog bear. They were like that big. Yeah.
Also, chants or affirmations like I walk between worlds with wisdom and courage. Hekate, light my path.
Yeah.
Something along
Remember, she carries the torch to light the path. That's one of my biggest symbolisms. And sometimes she just stares at you and waits for you to know the answer. But yeah. So I know we already mentioned like the dogs barking during Scorpio season.
We did, yeah.
Record any time dogs bark now during Scorpio season. Now that you've heard this, you've sort of been like enchanted with the understanding that Hekate might come to you through random dog barks. Random. I mean, like, you're nowhere near civilization. You hear a dog bark for no reason. And not like a wolf howl, but a dog bark. That's Hekate. And I promise you guys you'll experience things like that, especially when you're open to it and you're asking for it. Yeah. So we have this next part that's sort of like integration and empowerment is just a new little section that I added. And it's becoming the torchbearer, right? Scorpio's depth meets Hecate's wisdom. So the depth of Scorpio transitioning and the wisdom of Hekate literally being on the outskirts of everything and understanding everything and having all the three phases and being all the phases of womanhood. Together, they remind us that transformation isn't meant to be pretty. When is it ever pretty? Like, when I think of transformation, I think about me being like on my knees crying. Just like,
it really does represent usually something.
But it's meant to be very powerful. Like in our tears, in our emotions, we're powerful at that time. It's a powerful cry. It's a powerful scream. It's a powerful everything that you do. Powerful. So embrace your inner witch as you're keeping your own keys of your story, of your embodiment of this lifetime. Because you get this one lifetime being you as this person. One lifetime is Jayme. One lifetime is Kat, Kitty, Cappy, Katrina. Her 100 lives she's lived here. But every ending is really into a rebirth. And I think that's where I find solace in, like, I've never been afraid to die. I don't know about you, but like death for me is a door. It's always been a door. And it's just something else that we're going to walk through into the next transition. So whether it's the death of your current life, personality, your marriage, the really fucked up parts, losing a limb, your child passes away, like all of the fucked up parts that also could be endings and dyings. They are all doors to walk through. They are all transitions. And in the end, like, it's just the human experience, truly. Like, this is the classroom that we all learn in. So we're going to call on Hekate to guide us when you need it. Just remember who she is. Torchbearer, black dog, ready to go, fight for you, fucking be there for
light the way for you.
Be any
she's not
of the
going to
faces.
tell you what to do, and she's not going to point you in the direction, but she's going to light the way because she's going to tell you to trust yourself.
Illuminating the crossroads. Show you all of the ways that you can go, not necessarily tell you the way to go. She will show you the different paths that you have. Yeah. She doesn't just rescue you from the dark, but she'll walk beside you through it. And I think that that's one of the more powerful things that when we're going through really hard times is we often feel very, 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 very alone. She shows up for us. She shows up with her black dog or owl. I keep speaking from experience, but could be an owl, could be a snake, but she shows up with her black dog and her torch and she says, I will walk beside you. I will be here for you. You can continue to talk to me. Doesn't mean she'll answer. But you can continue to talk to her because she knows she's been there. She's lived in Hades. She's lived in the hell of the Greek underworld, right? Like, she knows what it's about. And sometimes that's like the most powerful magic there is, right? Just to have somebody to walk beside you. I'm so incredibly fortunate that so I moved here in 2009. My sister came in 2013, and then you came in 2019. Mm-hmm. I am now surrounded by women who are on this journey with me. And before that, I was very, very, very alone. So invite people into your journey, into your story, and just be honest with them. If you have a story like me where you're like, I'm not a great friend, I don't call people back, I lose track, I get absorbed, whatever, just tell them that. And you'll have friends that literally meet you there where they're like, hey girl, just checking in on you. Like, I know you're not good at this thing. Like, it's okay. The more upfront we can be about our inabilities to sort of get in on the things, the better other people can be to be like, oh, I know you needed this. Let me check in on you. Let me be there for you.
Yeah.
I think that that's been one of my best decisions, is to actually tell everybody my different handicaps.
It also, you're also being vulnerable with people that you're close to, which opens like it almost, and not that you're doing it to get like let me help you, but it does elicit that. And people naturally want to, when you're vulnerable with people, I think it's a natural human response is to want to comfort you, want to help you through that. So I think it's good to
nurture.
I think it's good to be open, honest, and vulnerable with people that you care about and that you care about and want in your life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So I want you to light your candles and grab your journal and maybe set out a key or two. I don't know, pick one of the symbolisms. Candles for me are a huge thing. Candles are transformation for me. But just start the ritual of trying to connect to that deeper side if you haven't felt it yet. And even if you have felt it, do that now. This is just such the perfect time to imbibe in that. Like, does imbibe only mean drinking?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Imbibe in the Hekate Scorpio season in 10 days. No, I'm just kidding. Whenever you want, they're always there for you. But yeah.
And if you feel the veil thinning and the night air stir, say hello to the goddess who walks the crossroads. Bring your candles and your chaos, your truth and your transformation as we walk the witch's way. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye, witches.
Bye.